It's Ash from Super Videos, back for another one. We're back to talk about Season 10 of The Walking Dead, specifically the Season 10 bonus episodes. In this video, we're gonna go over table reads from 2 of the bonus episodes, Season 10 episode 18, which is called Find Me, and also Season 10 episode 21, which is called Diverged. We're gonna go through the table reads that they released for both. I'm not gonna read the table read itself because you can find it yourself, but I will talk a little bit about the table read itself, but more about what we're potentially gonna see in those episodes based on the synopsis of the episode and also the teaser that we saw in the table reads. So stay tuned, we'll be right back to talk more about it. Before we jump into this, if you are not a subscriber, consider subscribing to join our community by pressing the subscribe button that you see on the bottom right corner of your screen. If you do enjoy the content, by the end, make sure to smash the like button and share the video. And also, if you want to be notified about daily uploads, make sure to press the bell button. So let's jump right into it. So first, we're gonna look at Season 10 episode 18, which is called Find Me. Now, I did go through all the bonus episode synopsises a while back, but I'll go through these 2 episodes again, just in case you haven't seen it or in case you forgot what was in it. So Season 10 episode 18 is called Find Me. The synopsis reads, an adventure for Daryl and Carol turns sideways when they come across an old cabin. It takes Daryl back to the years when he left the group after Rick disappeared, as he relives a time that only the apocalypse could manifest. So that's extremely interesting. But let's look at the table read. At the beginning of the table read, we have a dialogue between Daryl and Carol. It looks like it's a situation where Daryl is looking for supplies and Carol goes after him for whatever reason. Now, as far as the dialogue between Daryl and Carol goes at the beginning, it's a little light-spirited and they're just trying to kind of get under each other's skin a little bit, much like we've seen them do before when they are on screen together. But then things take a little bit of an emotional turn because they talk about how they lost Hilltop, and it's Carol who actually says that they're most likely gonna lose Alexandria as well. It's just a matter of time. Then they talk about how they have lost all the good people and how they are seeing all the good turn away from them, or something along those lines, which is very interesting. Now, the reason I bring their dialogue up is because I think that's a hint at what's to come. I think if they follow the comic book and the storyline as far as the Commonwealth is concerned, it's very likely that Alexandria will in fact either fall or they're just gonna have to leave it behind. And they're all going to have to regroup and join this large community called Commonwealth. So I think the fact that they're talking about how they lost Hilltop and how they're potentially gonna lose Alexandria is a hint that is in fact what we're gonna see. They're gonna lose Alexandria at some point in season 11, which is going to force them to have to go and find another community, which is obviously going to be Commonwealth. So I thought that was very interesting. And also, I do think that everything related to them losing Hilltop and all of that is gonna be a central part of these bonus episodes. The reason I say that is because they talked a little bit about that in the first bonus episode, in the table read. We had Carol and Maggie talking about it, and they were talking about how involved Negan was in that fight and everything. So I think that one of the themes that we're gonna see in these bonus episodes is gonna be the fact that they lost Hilltop, which is very interesting. But that's pretty much it as far as the dialogue that Carol and Daryl have at the beginning. But then the scene changes in the table read, and then we have a scene where Daryl finds a cabin, most likely the same cabin that was mentioned in the synopsis. Daryl goes inside, he sees a walker, shoots the walker, and then he comes face to face with a new character. This new character is named Leah, and she's portrayed by Leanne Collins. Now, I haven't seen Leanne Collins in any of her other work, so I can't really comment on the actress herself. But as far as the character that she's playing, it's very interesting because it looks like she might be one of those memorable characters that only appears in one episode. And the reason I say that is because we have a few pictures of her actually that they released, which is very interesting. In one picture, she's actually holding like a shotgun, and it looks like she's a very strong and tough survivor, so that's interesting. But in the table read, when Daryl comes across this person, she asks for his name. He says, "I'm leaving." And then she says, "No, you're not." And that's where the table read ends. Now, whether Leah, this new character, has good intentions or not remains to be seen, but it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with Daryl. I mean, is Daryl gonna have to fight her to get out, or what's gonna happen there? And also, is Carol gonna come save him? Because we do know Carol is probably around. I want to refer to something that was in the synopsis, because the synopsis said it takes Daryl back to the years when he left the group after Rick disappeared. So that's interesting. Is Daryl going to this cabin for a reason? Like, is this cabin significant for Daryl for whatever reason? Is the cabin what takes Daryl back to the days of when Rick disappeared? And also, is this character involved in that story as far as the past? The other thing we don't know is if this takes place in the current timeline, or is this when Daryl is reliving the years past when he left the group after Rick disappeared? This could be during that time, so it might not be the current time, which is also very interesting. But that's pretty much everything I had to say about this episode. The next episode we're going to talk about is Season 10 Episode 21, which is called Diverged. The synopsis of this episode reads, Daryl and Carol come to a fork in the road and head their separate ways, each going into their own type of survival mode. The easiest of challenges become much harder. Will their individual journeys be the tipping point needed to mend their friendship, or is the distance between them permanent? Now, what's interesting is that this synopsis teases at Daryl and Carol not being at good terms with each other for whatever reason. We actually see that in the table read as well, because the dialogue that they have makes it seem like they had like a fight or something happened, because Daryl wants to go his separate ways, at least for the time being, and he's not inviting Carol to come with him. And this is where the Diverged storyline comes into play, because they come to a fork in the road, hence the title Diverged. But there isn't really too much to talk about there. The dialogue that we have in this table read is very small, but then there's another part of the dialogue that happens later on in the episode where we actually have Daryl coming back to Alexandria. He's like all muddy and everything. He sees Carol, who's also covered in paint and dust and stuff like that, obviously from doing work at Alexandria. And then there's like a fun scene between them where they're like questioning what the other went through and all of that. But that's pretty much it. There wasn't too much else there in the table read for this particular episode. But with all of that said, I'm interested to know everyone's thoughts and opinions about these two bonus episodes and what your predictions are based on the synopsis that I read and also based on what was in the table read itself. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. If you are not a subscriber, consider subscribing to join our community by pressing the subscribe button that you see on the bottom right corner of your screen. If you do enjoy the content, make sure to smash the like button and share the video. And also, if you want to be notified about daily uploads, make sure to press the bell button. That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video.